The heaviest burden we inherited was high inflation, which was silently eroding every household's purchasing power. It peaked at 54.1% at the end of 2022 and declined to 23.5% by the end of 2024. Under Ono, we are doing 3% plus inflation. That is something Obia Kwenzu say yebetimi enya inflation at that level. This president is surely doing something right, Mebwa.
Into Obi the Edika Mecha Obi on Macha or Tiafu, Namacha Bonomai.
Okay.
Obi, so we share State of the Nation address, Yaman Penny, deliver last Friday.
Yes.
I mean, there are some facts or can't want them to say inflation or say inflation about down, public debt to GDP about down, etc. Which I do agree with him, sir. Indeed, it shows there is macroeconomic stability here.
Yes.
A go on.
Yes.
But I think we take it with time. Now say we share speech, paragraph by paragraph. To be honest, I think whoever wrote the speech for the president, probably or not, meaning not person setting up the president or what, because the State of the Nation address paints the picture. Say, economy na oman penini ebe inherited. Na sa economy na atitia pansam.
Yes.
Ana just last year no, ana 1 year omodia baba no. Sa 1 year no matimi ayede ben. Attending things around.
Yes.
And to say a quote, yeah, or can't want them, and even other quotes to say your debt levels.
Yes.
Or can say in December 2022, Ghana had one or experienced one of its darkest economic moments in our history. And since then, Omotima 10 things around our debt to GDP performed to 45%. 45.3%, indeed. But Obi, my person over mama kwai kakra, akunya kakra, na yetima church nyoma because the me person here will have a bit of an academic analysis and objective assessment of Ghana's economic situation. I mean, Obi say the darkest economic history in 2022. The key question we should be asking ourselves, say, indeed, you do 2022. Ghana's debt levels were unsustainable. And you do baby now buying taking one of the painful decisions to do the domestic debt exchange program, DDEP, and I mean bilateral negotiations, etc., for debt relief at the other. But Obi, you and I should ask ourselves, how did we get there as a country first? And in Shishaye Abina at the time, they two are and currently, no, is it based on those in Shishaye so now debt levels never form? Say a far facts of 2008, your man Penidada, His Excellency John Kufuor, if we so no. Now Ghana's debt was about $8 billion.
Sure.
As of December 2008. Now fast forward to 2016. Now as of December 2016, and now Ghana's debt levels was $29.2 billion. $29.2 billion. So now fast forward to 2022. Baby, I man Penini can say it was one of our darkest moments in our economic history. Now your debt levels are $53.9 billion in dollar terms.
Yes.
So now so we are mathematics now between 2008 to 2016. Our debt levels increased by 262%. From 2008 to 2016, our debt levels increased by 262%. Now, from 2017 till time, Yaman Penny in his State of the Nation address, I can say it's our darkest moment. Our debt levels had increased by about 85%.
That's in percentage terms.
In percentage terms.
But
figures. Yeah, but in percentage terms, the quantum in terms of the increase, debt levels and in terms of the increase now. So if by the time now, can say one of our darkest economic moments in the history of Ghana, Obi, question I see a busa honey say, why not a contributee, or is it only Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government and contributed to that unsustainable debt levels nana. I mean, based on these numbers, it's so clear. Say the NDC from 2009 to 2016, as a matter of fact, in percentage terms, it contributed more to our debt situation than the NPP government before your debt levels here are unsustainable. And so you're talking about say Omam manage economy ni and because of recklessness and a mismanager, then that means it's not factual.
But
it shows
the lay person will tell you say your bosiana ye could tia bosiana.
Yes.
And your percentages needed to yaka.
Okay.
And it's proper to look at the nominal figure.
But Obi, even what is interesting here, say even ocean nominal terms are the difference between the quantum of debt NDCD a buy and the quantum of debt MPP the 2 before 2022. That difference, the difference is not that much. So the point I'm trying to make here and here say, when it comes to the debt, the unsustainable levels of our debt situation in 2022, I mean, both governments contributed to that debt level. But sir, as debt, unsustainable debt levels, what happened? Government had to take that painful decision to do that domestic debt exchange program. Any debt negotiations, any restructuring. What is interesting is President in his State of the Nation address say, as part of the debt levels about 45%, they established a sinking fund. They also did restructurings and negotiations, etc. But Obi, you and I know, say, all these negotiations and restructurings, your core IMF program now, your shares DDEP and then as a matter of fact, painful decision MPP are buying a chassis, and no contribute. One of the main reasons are it too MPP are buying, and also fast war. Anna, this current government here then, a benefited from, and no fast war until Obia taking the bullet for this tough decision and painful decision on Muteki. Now government we are bad. No about benefiting from it, which is fine. I mean, government is a continuum. But as a Timmy, Emma Ghana for so person paint a proper picture of the state of our economy or the state of the nation. You have to make that clear, sir. Based on negotiations, restructuring MPP are buying a shares here previously, and also can who be a contributor my debt levels now the down say. Even some of the debt levels now experience here we got some of the data in 2025. What did it happen under the previous government? It happened under this government. And you know can who be in my debt levels now the now.
But you would also agree, sir. There were commitments abided in terms of paying bondholders, or music according to the DEP arrangements. They've also continued without fail in finding money to pay bondholders, not seeker. That surely is to the credit of this government. And they would argue, say, if you plunge or minor into an unsustainable debt situation. Now, why would the solution ever? Why should we praise you? We praise you.
I don't think Obi the Dika. I think says in a class, unsustainable debt situation was not created by just Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government. And I make us say, share even the quantum of debt or even the percentage increase. Even in percentage terms, majority of the debt came from the NDC government. Inti omuntimin kase MPP are buying on plunging this country into unsustainable debt levels. The data is there on Bank of Ghana data, etc. It's clear. Now, say what now also cost what bondholders in there. But it is not the situation. Say previously they were not paying our buy and our washer. Say utia. Again, even what the state of the nation fails to acknowledge is Obi. So we share Ghana's public debt from May to September. Do you know, sir, from May to September last year, 2025? Okay. Do you know, sir, our public debt had actually increased by about 72 billion from May to September last year?
In that short period?
In that short period, from May to September. our public debt actually increased. So Osha Bank of Ghana summary statistics now.
Yes.
You will notice in May 2025 our public debt was 612 billion Ghana cedis. Yeah, by September now our public debt had increased to 684 billion Ghana cedis. Then from September to November no about Fomso Kakra. But so Osha even from May to November, in terms of there has actually been a net increase in our public debt stock. So in Tiada Oman Penini and the writers of the speech for Oman Penini no, I acknowledge say Sisi Ayeka you're talking about unsustainable debt situation. Our debt stock is actually increasing. Oman kan wansem say Sisi a mene wo kase ubi. Your debt here the ben. Ekosro.